Hey, you guys, welcome back to Just Sharing with Nine. If you have been lucky enough to catch my last couple of videos, you heard me saying towards the end that I was going to get a video together and talk about mental health. Well, that video is here, and here I am. I had been thinking about this topic for a while, and the reason being is because I have been encouraging people in my life that have been going through certain things of needing to go talk to someone, go to a counselor. And so on this page, I like to just share my perspective, things that I've gone through. So I just wanted to share my counseling journey and things that I've gone through, dealt with, learned from, and why it's been a blessing to me. So I'm outside again on this beautiful October day, and I have my big baby, my big puppy, somewhere underneath this chair. I think he just finally laid down. So if you see a little black tail, that's what that is. I'm not getting attacked by anything except probably him. I first saw a counselor back, I'm going to say right about 10 years ago, might be 11, but right about 10 years ago. And that was due to a relationship. Wanting to figure out why I stayed in the relationship as long as I did. I'd been with that individual on and off for over 10 years. Why I made the decisions that I did, why I put up with what I did, right? So that's why I went to counseling. And I truly, got good info from my counselor and learned some things about myself. But due to job, me moving, things happened and I didn't continue with that person. I did continue some of the things, which was journaling. That was a big thing that I did after counseling and continue to do even to this day in different aspects. Jump forward several years. As you all know, I became a caregiver right about, this is 2023, so it was 2016, 2017, became a caregiver for my parents. Big change in my life. Huge change in my life. At that time, being a caregiver, I also was a clinic director. I had 7 employees at the time that I managed in my profession as a physical therapist, trying to learn and navigate the changes of my mother's diseases, how it was affecting my father, even things that he was going through, and it was a lot. And I felt alone. I felt like I was the only one going through it. No one could understand except for a couple of friends, very few, very few, because they had also either been or are currently a caregiver at the same time. So they were someone that I could turn to. But I did seek counseling again. Found a caregiver, oh Lord, found a counselor to talk to. However, it wasn't a fit for me. And in recently, I'm going to kind of jump forward now, and when I talk to some of my friends, family members that have sought out counseling, and are like, oh, I just didn't connect, I didn't feel comfortable, and that's fine, right? It's okay. That counseling, that mental therapist may not be right for you. So I use the analogy of, I said, so if you had gone to the OBGYN for my females, or if you had gone to the primary care physician and you just didn't feel like their bedside manner was what you were seeking, felt comfortable with, would you look for another provider? And they all immediately said yes. So guess what? A mental therapist, a counselor, it's no difference. Go find someone else. It doesn't mean just stop. Oh God, counseling's not for me because I can't find the person. No, go find someone. Even as a physical therapist, I can honestly say I'm not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. There's certain things that people don't feel comfortable with my personality, the way I approach things. They want to be coddled a little bit more than what I do. So they go to someone else. It's okay. So I say that to say, don't give up just because the first one you went to wasn't right for you, right? So that's what I did. Now it took a little bit longer again, trying to find that right one. But I did. I found a different counselor, and could actually talk about the heaviness, the feeling of being overwhelmed, and anxiety about things with being a caregiver now. And so COVID hit. That kind of changed how counseling was happening. It was on the phone, and then it started being virtual. And, it really didn't feel as personable, with that person that I had, when I could just sit down and talk to them face to face and be like, yeah, this was a effed up week, or I'm just so over this, but I can't throw in the towel now. Who's gonna pick it up and keep going? So when it came to being over the phone, I just didn't have that same energy. But I stuck with it, right? I stuck with it. Then, unfortunately, another move happened. So due to insurance reasons, I had to find a different counselor. So the process starts over. And I'm pretty sure there are people that have felt this, and you're just like, oh, Lord. Now I got to bare my soul all over again after I just did that to somebody 3 months ago or last year, and you got to start all over. Well, yes, you do. Same way again with a doctor. They're going to be like, so tell me what's going on. Let's talk about the history. And as frustrated as people get to have to repeat the story, you have to realize this is somebody new. So they're trying to get it from you, the horse's mouth, instead of reading what someone else depicted about you. So, just go with the flow. It's okay. You'll make through. You will make it through. So COVID hit, that kind of decreased the connection, I should say, I had with my counselor. The move changed, that changed it completely. And we tried to do some on the phone, but it just, she definitely thought it'd be better for me to find someone where I lived. So, unfortunately, my caregiving role changed, and I put that to a back burner. And it made a difference. I feel I struggled more because I didn't have someone to talk through those two. Let me change that. I did have someone to talk through to get me through certain situations, because my best friend is a counselor, but not again to burden that friendship, right? Of like, I know I need to find someone else, but I do thank her for getting me through many, many difficult times. Many difficult times, and hearing me cry on the phone, and just feeling like I want to throw my hands up and I don't know what to do. And when those hard decisions came, as far as I've shared with you, with saying my mom will be on hospice, and to even up to the day of her passing, and prior to her passing, probably those 2 months, I wasn't sleeping well. I know I was irritable. I was constantly crying on the phone about the simplest thing, right? The car light could have came on, engine change, and it just made me so upset, and I would just bawl because I'm like, I don't have the time to deal with this. I need my car to be working because I got to go to work. Or an employee could be calling out because they're sick. It ain't their fault they sick. I get it. But because of where I was mentally, all of that was just too much for me. And she took me through, she finally took me through some questions, and I don't know the name of the questionnaire, so you have to forgive me, but she's like, I do want you to find someone, and I think we need to get on medication. I cried even more. I did, because she said she felt I had anxiety and depression. Those two words, anxiety and depression, I can't even tell you anyone in my family history, that's I will say, that I know has a diagnosis, right? I'm in healthcare. I see it come across people's medical history, and some people share it, some people don't, I never saw myself having to have that as a part of my history. I thought there was going to be ways that I was going to figure out how to cope with life, right? Because it's life. That's what it is. And so we talked about why just the diagnosis itself was upsetting to me. Because I'm like, I don't want to be on medication for the rest of my life. Like, not for that. No, I know I can get myself together. My mother would say, no, you need... There it is, right? My mother would tell me I can pull this together and cry now, let it out, and then get up and keep going. Or my dad would say that. So I don't need to be on medication. I don't know anyone in my family that's on medication for anxiety, let alone anxiety and depression. But after talking then to my primary care physician about her consultation with me and my symptoms, and she was like, okay, it's understandable. It's a situation right now, and it's a situation that is a lot to carry, it's a lot to bear. You are not the only one. I have young professionals just like you, whether it be they're a mother, they're going into a new job, they've been dealing with the caregiving role, and they need that assistance from that medication to help them just stabilize their mood so they can continue to function and do the things. Because as caregivers, for instance, right? If we are not together and healthy, then we can't care for our loved ones. We're no good. So it did take a minute, and I confided in my aunties that I go to a lot about how I felt about it, and how it made, just the things I was thinking about. And that's one thing I've learned, and most recently in counseling and even the passing of my mother, is I do speak up more about things. I used to be the person that I would hold that, and I wouldn't tell anyone that I was not okay that day, or that I was, no, I need a minute, or I need a mental day. I'm not right. There were times in that initial grief process where I would get up, and I didn't realize I was in a grief process before my mom passed, for one, right? But that I would get up and not want to go to work. I would just get in the car and I'd sit there. I done got fully dressed and just sitting there like, I don't have it in me to pour into anyone else, to be that empathetic person for a new patient, or to hear an employee, need someone. I ain't have it. And so once I looked in the mirror and realized what was going on, and after talking to the doctor, I did get on, some medication. And we talked through how I would know when it's okay to come off. I attempted to taper down towards the end of last year, me trying to be in control, saying, I got this, blah, blah, blah. But then life kept lifing me. So from 2022 to 2023, it's been, the loss of my mother. I've had a total of 3 surgeries on myself between that time frame of 18 months, we'll say. More than I've ever had in my life. How about that? Moving my father from one state to another, being in the hospital with him for different things more, so all this stuff has happened in less than 2 years. And when I tried to do the taper down and think that I was okay, and those emotions kept coming back up, and I was starting, the anxiety changed. I would feel it like right here in my chest, and I would be like, oh God, I can't, this is just, I'm trying to calm. I was pushing, thinking I could calm it down. I was like, be real with yourself. You need to get back on that medication. And I'm back on, and I've been on it since. And not that life still ain't lifing, and there still aren't stressors and anxiety with certain situations, but I handle it better. At times I did question, I'm like, Lord, am I not bawling or crying like I should be crying for the situation, because of the medication? And then I would just accept it now. I'm just like, it is what it is. I have the feeling, I do feel sad, I am angry, but I'm able to have my emotions and still keep processing, moving through life, and not just throwing my hands up saying I don't know what to do, and it's just me, and ain't nobody gonna come behind me and pick, nobody's here to say get up out of bed, right? Majority of my close friends, family, they're all a little bit of distance to me. So rounding this whole story up to say that counseling has been a wonderful thing in my life. I've learned to journal and speak about my feelings about things, whether it be frustrations with myself of how I replied or responded to a girlfriend or a guy friend, how I responded or heard news from a family member, concerns that I have after an incident or a change at work or anything like that. So counseling has allowed me to talk through these things, to journal it, and to learn how to cope with the changes of life. And all of us right now are going through something. Lord, this inflation is about, it's just the way we are right now is just like, okay, when are we gonna catch a break from this? Because we were shut down for long, and now we open it, and we're still trying to bounce back, and it's making majority of us in my age be like, really, like this is. I ain't seen my parents go through like this. Why we got to be the ones to go through it like this? That's just how I feel, and I think I might have some people that feel the same way. So if there are things going on and you feel, I don't know, alone, overwhelmed, anxious, depressed. Feelings are that you can't describe and you don't know what it is even, right? Because that's where I was. I was like, I don't know how to describe this. I don't know what this is. It can't hurt you in any way to at least seek someone to talk to. I am a Christian. I'm a woman of faith. And yes, I do pray and I talk to God. But guess what? I also feel like God puts people in our lives, like physically in our life, to help us through certain things, right? That's why we go to the doctor. And even though, yes, the doctor says stuff and we're like, but I still believe, Lord, that he's in control. But at least we went and we found out what was going on, right? Or, you seek someone for financial counseling, or assistance with schooling or getting ready to buy a house or things like that. So why would you not seek one to take care of the powerhouse of your body, which is your brain? I just don't know why we wouldn't do that. So I'm telling you, go do it. Stop being afraid, because there's nothing to be afraid of, right? Like, these individuals have been trained, and we give other individuals in different professions the respect and the trust, and we know that they will take care of what we tell them. This is the same. This person has gone through school to be able to be that help for someone. So take advantage of it. And if you're not sure how to, there are so many avenues. If you have insurance, start with your insurance, right? Find out what coverage you have for mental therapy, for counseling, whatever terminology you want to see. If you are working, ask your job about the employee assistance program. There are things that you can get through your job, and you'll get into something for free, and then it can change over to being covered by your insurance. My favorite website that I tell people, psychologytoday.com. You can put in there if you want a Caucasian female, Christian based, who is open and aware of LGBTQ plus community, things like that, right? Or if you want an African American male who deals with marital advice over the age of 50, I don't know, and does virtual because you're not ready to sit in front of someone. All those classifications or filters are available to you to find someone that you hope will be a good fit for you. And again, if the first one doesn't work, try again. Don't give up. There is somebody out there that's going to connect with you and going to be there and give you the tools that you need. Not everyone needs to be on medication, right? At first, I can actually say none of the initial counselors even said anything. The one I'm with now, she fully supported it because we talked about how I felt about being on it, the symptoms, blah, 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 all that. And she was like, no, I get it. I totally feel like that is the most appropriate thing for you right now. That right now makes a difference, because it doesn't mean that is a, something that's locking me down for a lifetime. It doesn't have to. And even that diagnosis isn't a diagnosis that's going to be hopefully on my medical chart for years. But if it is, I know why. And I know that I have a story behind it. So, like always, I just shared and I hope my sharing helps someone else. So I thank you for tuning in to Just Sharing with Nine. Take it seriously. Go get the help you need. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else but for you. But realize, if you are thinking about and caring about other people, spouse, children, parents, you got to be right before you can care for them. So put your health, not just your physical, your mental health up there as a priority, because if this ain't together, then the rest of this isn't functioning. So, I'm out. I thank you for tuning in, and y'all have a good one. Peace.